Hey everybody, welcome to Freedom Friday once again. I'm Krypton Knight. Me and Krypton Knight and
Okay.
are giving this presentation on prayer and meditation. Um, so I'm going to first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. I think we have hopefully resolved all our issues now, and it should come up. Mm,
Yeah, you might have to move that guest spot thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So how are we looking?
Yeah. Great. Okay.
Good. You can see that?
Yeah. You could even put it on slide show if you want to start your slide show.
Yep.
Go to slide show.
Yeah. Oh, play from start.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
yeah. That's a lot better here. Okay. So prayer and meditation. So we're going to be talking about different types of prayer. I'm mainly on one type of prayer that I am particularly drawn to, and meditation, and how we can shift the outer world through our inner work. So really, that's what prayer and meditation is really all about. It's enabling us to change ourselves from within, because really the ultimate change only exists within us. We're very powerless to try and change things outside of us. We can't change other people. We can't change the world by throwing stones or yelling and screaming or doing superficial kind of change. So really, um, this is the bridge that we need to cross between the spiritual and the material. So there's different types of prayer, and obviously a lot of them are coloured by our traditional religion. So I'm going to sort of skip over these quite quickly, but most of them, I'm not a particularly well. I'm not a religious person per se. I don't believe in a construct, but there are aspects within religion that are truthful, and there are in the Bible and in some of the other Christian texts and Christian teachings. There are some good stuff. Uh, so I'm not here to put down those people who follow that. It's just unfortunately, I think a lot of the problem is that it's couched in language that people either don't understand, or it's taken literally. When I think a lot of Christianity and the Bible is actually a metaphor for or analogies and parables, and people don't understand the actual deeper context of which the Bible and that's written in. Anyway, a lot of prayer that we kind of know, what we call petitionary prayers. These are really just where someone is asking for something. You're asking for help. You're asking for health. You're asking for more money. You're asking for this. You're asking for that. And I believe that these type of prayers are very limited in their reach and scope. They don't really do much, in my opinion. They might be helpful for some people, and it might be a good place to start. I'm not saying that some people might want to start there, just the actual act of asking for help is actually a beneficial thing that for a lot of people they don't feel they should ask or that they can ask, or they feel like they're being unworthy for asking. We have to ask for what we want, but when it comes to prayer, I think there's far more powerful ways that we can achieve that goal. And then there's the prayer of worship, which is in the religious sense, it's worshiping God. I put God in inverted commas because some people don't like that word, or that word is quite limited, or there's a lot of belief around the word God. I prefer the divine creator or the one creator. But, it's good to believe in something beyond ourselves. And if God works for people, then, it's fine. Then there's the prayer of thanksgiving, or giving thanks for what we have. And I think this is a wonderful thing to do. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think we need to be very grateful and thankful and appreciative of what we already have, and so that's great. Then there's the power of faith, or sorry, the prayer of faith, which is the power, which certainly there is a power in faith, and again, it's faith in the religious terms, it's the faith in God, or as I've put there, the divine creator. And faith is definitely something that is very misunderstood. And I believe that having faith, particularly in these times, is a powerful asset to have. It really is about faith is all about bringing the unseen to the seen, and having faith that that will actually happen. Yeah, I think that there is definitely some good relevance in that. Then there's the prayer of intercession. Intercession is where someone is praying on behalf of someone else, often in praying for someone's healing, or sending people healing. Uh, there's absolutely a lot of good things to be said about that, and I know it happens a lot. And I personally know a number of people who have received very powerful results from this. If the person that is sending the healing or the prayer is particularly aligned and tapped in to spirit, or to their spiritual life, that can be very, very powerful. Then there's group prayer, and this is where you come together as a group. This is what they do, obviously, in church, but it can happen in spiritual circles, in family circles. There's definitely an increased energy, I believe, when people are coming together with a common cause, and when they're united, regardless of what we think their beliefs are, or whether we think that's right or wrong. If people are coming together in group prayer obviously for beneficial purposes, to help their family members, or to maybe for a world meditation, prayer and meditation are actually very much similar. So I think that's a good thing. Prayer of consecration, which is basically praying over your food and drink. Uh, Absolutely, I think that's also a very powerful thing to do. Especially when maybe the food may not be of a certain quality that you would ideally like to have. Prayer can actually enhance the quality and absorbability of our food, and uh, so again, I think there's definitely good things out of that, and it is a good thing to make it a ritual. I know a lot of people will do it over every meal. Um, doesn't have to be long and convoluted. It could be just a simple thanks for the food. It doesn't. Any prayer can be very simple, but it's best to be to the point, not waffling on about all the issues that you have. I think you're just a matter of being direct and straight. And the prayer of the Holy Spirit, uh, which is basically a prayer for when you don't know what you want, but you're asking really for Spirit or God to guide you in the right direction, basically, and show you what you really need to focus on as a purpose, particularly as a purpose or as a thing that you need to do, or some kind of work maybe to get busy, because some people just really don't know what they want, and they don't know what to do. And so I see all these prayers as very good beginning prayers. If you take the religious side out of it, this cuts across all faiths, all cultures, all statuses. I think we need to sort of get out of this fact that it's just a religious load of mumbo jumbo. I don't subscribe to that at all. But I'm going to come to. So I've just got to work my mouse so that I can get my arrow up. So the main form of prayer that I'm particularly drawn to and really love this prayer. It was presented to me by Greg Braden, and he's written a lot of amazing books, and he's been a bit of a mentor for me on and off for many years. And this is what they call the lost mode of prayer. This was in the Gospel of Thomas, and it was one of the 43 books in the Nag Hammadi library. The Nag Hammadi library held these 43 books. The Nag Hammadi is an incredible treasure trove of ancient knowledge, gnosis, or knowledge. And along with the Dead Sea Scrolls, we've been able to glean a lot of incredible information out of these bodies of ancient knowledge. And I've watched quite a lot of stuff on teachings of the Nag Hammadi, and this is one of them. And basically, what the Gospel of Thomas is about is it's how to communicate with God, or the field of divine energy. It is a feeling based prayer. Uh, so it's a completely different modality, and it's about feeling the feelings, feel the feelings of the outcome as though it is already here, as though it is already done, as though the result that you are praying for something that is already here, and you're just simply using your feelings to reveal it. It's really essentially what it's saying, because in actual this in the present moment, in the now moment, which is really all we have, there is no past or present or future. Or past or future. There is absolutely only the present. And in that present, actually, everything that we need and have available is already here. It's just a matter of kind of downloading it. So when you're doing this type of prayer, you hear the sounds, you smell the smells, you taste, touch, and of course see the outcome as though it's here. So, say for instance, you were wanting to manifest, say, one of mine is having a specialized healing natural retreat, for instance. So you could actually visualize the sounds of the birds. You could hear the sounds of maybe a running stream. You could smell the smells of the uh, of the forest or the flowers or nature itself, the earth. You could taste and touch, you could taste the say the beautiful nourishing meals that you might serve there, and you could touch actual nature. You could touch the trees, you could touch the earth. It's basically engaging all the five senses. And this is what the senses are really for. These are what the senses are designed for. They're designed for us to work with our feelings and to work with our mind, work with our thoughts, to create that which we really most want and desire. And of course, the seeing the outcome as complete is probably the most important part. So actually see uh, how it looks right down to infinite detail. You can go into colors. You could potentially even see the nails in the railings, say of your decking, or you could see the actual type of wood it is. You could see the forest that's surrounding this beautiful retreat, and actually visualize detail and visit it often. Once you kind of practice and do this, I have these permanent kind of visions that are in my head now, all the time. I don't even really have to. I don't have to start from scratch. I can just boom. I can visualize exactly what I see. I think the world needs, as well as what I would like. And I think it is a bit of both. I think we have to pray for or visualize a world of peace and a world of harmony. I think that's really ultimately what we all would desire in our heart of hearts. So we're not actually praying for something, because that is acknowledging it's not here. That's putting separation between you and that which you're praying to create. So it's about be in the feeling of what it feels like as though it is here now. So we're praying as though, or we're basically praying as though it is done. And all manifestation happens in the present moment with thoughts and feelings aligned. Congruence between thought and feeling is absolutely vital as well. Although this is a feeling meditation, thoughts and feelings are totally interconnected and interrelated, because whenever we have a thought, there is a feeling. And this creates a feedback loop, a biofeedback loop, where those feelings then can necessitate other thoughts. But if the thoughts and the feelings are not aligned, if they're not congruent, if you're thinking of something and you're feeling something else, then you are going to have chaos in your life. And when I talk about thoughts, this can happen without us even realizing it. This can happen in our subconscious because our thoughts are predominantly in a stream of belief. And those beliefs are very often, I'd say 99% of the time, they are not aligned at all with what you really deeply feel and want to create. Those beliefs will be of all kinds of other things. That conditioning, that's our conditioning, that's what our parents wanted, or what our partner might want for us, or what other people want, or what we think we actually should have. So we've got to do a bit of work to cut through We've got to cut through all of those beliefs and get to the core of what you really want. So when you're some rules of the prayer game is we need to ask straight without attachment and be totally enveloped by what you desire. So what that basically means is, well, as they say here in this quote, all things that you ask straightly or directly from inside my name, you will be given. That has come out of the Gospel of Thomas. So that's directly from him. It's couched in old language, um, but basically, yeah, it's basically this is a technology. This is a type. This is a type of science, and it's something that I will explain why as we go along. But also, as he says here, ask without hidden motive and be surrounded by your answer. Be enveloped by what you desire, that your gladness be full. So basically, in the Buddhist way, they are always talking about non-attachment, non-attachment, and so there's a very much a paradox here, in that we're visualizing or we're praying for what we want, or we're feeling for what we want, um, but we have to be completely detached from that for it to actually manifest. Um, and yeah, that's the tricky part for a lot of people. And we have to be surrounded by your answer. So that's where we engage those five senses. That's where you surround yourself with the sounds and the smells and the taste and the touch and the visuals of what you are desiring. And be enveloped by what you desire, that your gladness be full. So it's obviously be enveloped with something that makes you feel good and makes your heart feel full. So that it's essentially what it's all about. And then feel as if. So feel as if your prayer is answered. Be completely in the knowing. Do not even question it. Just just pretend that it has been answered, and practice makes perfect. So feel as if like it might be that you need healing for your body, so feel as if your body is already healed, or your perfect relationship is here, or your abundance is present. So feel as if your crypto is going to going gangbusters, and visualize an amount, even if you like, and visualize it in your wallet there. I mean, this is what they're talking about, is act as if it's already done. And as they say, invoke your senses, invoke all your five senses. And if you're invoking all your five senses, I am pretty much guarantee that your sixth sense of intuition is then ignited. And I almost could almost put money on that. That is what will happen, because that's what intuition is. It is the sixth sense, but it builds upon the shoulders of the five basic senses, which are also known in ancient languages or ancient knowledge as five doorways. They're five helpers. That's sort of what they are. They can become very much an ego drive, but again, they're tools to be used. And if we're just dwelling in the senses totally, well, obviously that's just an ego trip. But the trick is to use your senses, not be enveloped by the senses. And then when we're doing this is another key thing about this is not just about prayer. This Trinity here, this opening and what they say code, or what I call middle and close, this is all throughout our life. This is in language. It's in a play, in a drama, in a theatre, or it's in life. There is always an opening, a middle, and a close to everything. On the very biggest levels, like there was an opening to the universe. There's a creation of the universe. There's the sustaining of the universe, and then there's the closing of the universe, or the ending. But it is constantly moving in cycle. And so when we have an opening, a middle, and close for prayer as well. Now this I also put here subject, predicate, and object. So this subject, predicate, object is the basis of any good language. Any good grammar will have subject, predicate, and object. In other words, you have the subjective, the objective, and the actual core. The predicate is really the guts of what it's all about. But we always have an object, we have a thing, we have a noun, we have a person, such that we have the subject, it's what you're talking about, what you're involved in, and you have the predicate, which is the actual body of what it's all about. When it comes to prayer, in the opening, state the purpose, intent of your prayer. Be brief, concise, be absolutely to the point, but be very, very clear. And then code. I find it interesting here that they put code, because we are using codes here. I mean, language and thoughts are codes. Languaging, letters that make words, that make sentences, are all codes. All letters come from energetic codes, and from ancient, basically letters and numbers are interrelated, and they are all actual graphical representations of different types of energy. That's basically what letters and words are. So when we're speaking those, or when we're feeling those, or when we're thinking that, that's encoding. That's encoding our life. That's encoding ourselves with this prayer, with this intention. So the code is the body of your prayer, and he puts here subconscious code. So that's the trick, is that ultimately it needs to slide into your subconscious and replace all the erroneous beliefs and information that's just cluttering up your mind. We're running our life on autopilot via the subconscious, so it makes sense that we need to sort of reprogram our subconscious with what we really, really want, what we really desire, what we want to see in the world, what we want to see in our own homes and lives. So again, it's as if it's already accomplished and achieved. That's what we've got to. That's the key thing. That's the key code, if you like. And then the close is, I seal this prayer in trust and faith and truth. And it's got El Alam, El Mean, Amen. These are this is the ancient kind of languaging that they would use to close their prayer with. They would say all those three words, and it's basically, hail to God, hail to the divine, hail to the Creator. Thank you. It is done. So be it. That's basically what it's kind of saying. It's sealing the it is done kind of encodement, if you like. Next. So now I'm going to talk a bit about science, and I'm going to talk about why this actually works based on science. This is what I call objective truths. This is part of our object or the objective, which is to install these objective truths into our mind. And electromagnetism is a classic example of how things get manifested and why they get manifested. So it's understanding the electric or plasma world is to understand a key law of the entire universe and how manifestation happens. So thoughts are electric, and like all energy, it has a direction. Um, whereas feelings are magnetic and are always present with an electric field. Therefore, where strong thoughts are present, there will be strong feelings. So the feelings are our magnetism. That is our power. That is a sort of a feminine or divine feminine kind of power. It's in the magnetism. Whereas the thoughts and very clear, concise thoughts or intentions, which is probably a better word here when we're relating it to prayer, they are very much directional. If you find that if you're driving along on the road and you're daydreaming about where you're going, this happens to me quite a bit. If you are not, if you have not intended where you're actually going, and that you've planted the seed that I've got to get off at this exit, and you can actually do a quick visualization of where you're going, you will not miss that turn off. You will not miss it. But if you're daydreaming and you haven't done that, I guarantee people will drive right past the turn off that they're supposed to go, because thoughts have a directive in them, or clear intentions have a directive. And we can do this with what we're trying to visualize in our life. Prayers, constant thoughts in a prayer like way will be setting you up to head in that direction. But we cannot create that. We cannot manifest that without the feeling, without the magnetism. So, this is something that I will bring up many times throughout my talks, because I'm reverting to baseline foundation laws and truths that provide the subject or the subjective truths that we are seeing outside in the world. It provides them with a lot of context, so we don't get swallowed up by the getting pulled this way and that way. You know, one minute we're up because we see some good news, the next minute we're down because we've seen some bad news, when we really don't know what is going on out there. The only thing we control is what's happening inside us. So we use terms like, I was drawn to him and her like a magnet, for instance. So that's all throughout our languaging. We use these kind of we'll use these kind of terms. Opposites attract. Males and females obviously are opposite in their energy, so we're going to get attracted. By and large, I'm not entering into a discussion here about gays or whatever. I mean, but basically, opposites will attract, and the law of the universe, um, uh, different elements will attract. However, they must be harmonized. So, like, when we're coming together with a new partner, and it might be all beautiful at first, and you're in the honeymoon stage, but then when issues start to surface and you start to really get to know each other and each other's weaknesses and challenges, that's when we have to do some work to balance, come to agreements, come into harmony. So this is this sort of issues constantly going on in the universe. There's always there's always two poles and then a kind of a balancing point in the middle, or which could be intentions, it could be feelings, it could be actions, it could be communication, it could be anything, just about anything. Manifestation happens effortlessly when we are congruent or aligned with thoughts and feelings. So I did mention that before, but we've got to be real clear that our thoughts are our own and not somebody else's. And we've got to get through our initial reactions, which could be emotive. We've got to move through the emotion of things and get to the crux of the real feelings. And real feelings are in the heart, whereas baseline emotions will live in your lower chakra, in your lower chakras, in your base chakra, and in your and the next chakra up, the uh, I forget now the name of it, but the second chakra is often where a lot of this is where we get a lot of shadow comes up there, and shadow presents itself very strongly in sexual areas and money. Sex and money are where we get a lot of strong emotions. They need to be modified into real heartfelt feelings. Beliefs will create things you may not want by default. So that's what I was saying before. Beliefs that are living in your subconscious. We're running our lives on beliefs. All of us have beliefs that are not actually truths. They're not actually knowing. They're not knowing yet. So we've got to analyze these beliefs. We've got to do some work to flesh them out and find out what we actually really believe. And this is where it does take some work. Um, Continuous conscious thought is critical to help reprogram our subconscious, which is where our deepest feelings lie. Our deepest feelings are in the limbic brain, and the limbic brain is a key part of the subconscious mind. It's where everything happens, like your subconscious is handling everything, like your blood flow and your heart beating, your nervous system. It is doing all of these functions on autopilot, and it is taking up way more power of your brain than our conscious thought has, which is only a very small slither. And a lot of people have a lot of trouble continuously being able to hold conscious thought. Takes real focus and real clarity. So this is why we've got to continually revisit it. And then when I'm talking about conscious thought here, I'm talking about this is our intentions. These are our deepest intentions. These are the mind seeds that we need to sow. And so this is what the law of attraction is all about. In other words, electromagnetism. This is depicting how the law of attraction really works by creating a field of resonance that aligns with the greater field of the universal mind. So there's some very deep stuff in there, but just being able to start pondering it is a great start, because a lot of people do not even think about this kind of stuff. And to me, this is where the cause of our life, this is the engine room of our life. The engine room isn't working properly, then what we're creating is not going to be what we want. So this gives you a graphical representation of what I'm talking about when I describe the field. And there is a torus. This is called a torus. Um, it's also known. It was also known as the divine matrix or divine matrix field of energy. Everything in the universe is connected via this field, and there is a field like this around the earth. There's a field like this around us, every single being, and around everything, every single rock, blade of grass, tree, mineral, everything. Everything has a torus. Everything has a type of energetic field. And it's basically cycling around. It comes, if you see my mouse, the energy comes down through the top of our head. And if you feel the very middle of the top of your head, you should have an indentation in there, just like there's this like indentation as the energy is like a funnel. You'll have a tiny little indent in the very, very top of your head. And the energy literally comes down through the top of our head, down through the chakras, through the spine. Um, Everything, the heart center is where the energies are really, um, that's really the center of all of this is our heart. And then they come down through the bottom of our body, our legs, and that, and it's cycling around both directions. So this we are an electric being, and you could say that we are an electromagnetic being, and this field, this is what we also know as our aura. And when people see the aura, it's actually they're getting a glimpse of this field. And within our aura, there's actually different gradients of energy. We have our physical body, then we have our astral body, which is like a physical double, and that will sit just outside our physical body. Then we have a mental body, an emotional body, a spiritual body, and what they call a causal body. So these are all going finer and finer, and it's all part of this matrix of this field, this toroidal field of energy. So the Earth has one of these as well, and that's what they call the North and South Pole. It's like the Earth is like a giant magnet or electrical conduit, and the North Pole is where the energies are moving in. Just like they move into through the top of our head, the energies are flowing into the North and South poles, or flowing into the North Pole and out of the South Pole. And so when the poles do a flip, all they're doing is that is reversing. It doesn't mean the whole physical Earth flips. When the poles do shift from every few 100,000 years, the poles will do a shift. And we know the poles are wandering now. And if they flip, they it will create a lot of change. And the poles are on the move now. So this is indicative of the changes that are going on. It's all related. By the way, the sun also has a north and south pole, and it is also electromagnetic as well. And the sun's poles shift or reverse every 11 years. Every 11 years they do it, almost to a T. This is why every 11 years we will get different weather patterns coming in. But the sun also has much larger cycles. I think it's 200-year cycles, 2,500-year cycles, 25,000-year cycles, because everything is related on this fractal of 25 or between 24 and 26. That fractal, these are the key cycles, the precession of the equinoxes, in other words, the movement of our sun through the horoscope. These are all the key cycles. And the sun and us and the earth, we're all being affected by them. So now I'm going to come to meditation. What is the purpose of meditation? The purpose of meditation is to acquire inner strength and faith. That faith in the unseen, the faith in the invisible, the faith in the divine, the faith in ourselves as well. And that inner strength and outer strength as well, because as you're building inner strength, you're going to feel stronger physically as well, and far more healthier. It's also the desire, the purpose of meditation is to be a witness of the mind, to witness the busy mind, not necessarily try and cancel those thoughts out, or to it doesn't mean that you're here to try and exert mind power to cancel out the thoughts you don't want, because that will never work. All we have to do to dissolve the busy mind, we just have to watch it. And it's like anything, like if you are watching and observing something, that it will come into balance simply by the observation. So the idea is to find stillness from a busy mind, which in turn increases your energy, significantly increases your energy, because the busy mind is like imagine it's like a motor that's constantly running. It's like a generator that's constantly on, and it's churning up all these different fears and worries and beliefs, and your mind is ticking over doing all these thousands and thousands of thoughts every second and every minute, and that is burning up valuable energy. Meditation is to help connect our spiritual energy with physical matter. So it's not just all about the energy and the spirit, it's also about us being in a physical body on a physical earth. And this also includes our material side and finances and all of that. So the key is that meditation can help you get more grounded if you need grounding, and more spiritual, if you like, energy or intuition, a clearer imagination as well, depending on what you really need and what you intend as well. Meditation is for protection from harmful energies. These can come from negative people, can come from areas on the earth, can be quite, there's certain areas, places on the earth that can have negative energies. Generally, when there's an underground stream, they suck energy from us. Around the EMF, towers, 5G, 4G, phones, computers. Yeah, meditation can help us with all of this, because it's building that matrix, that auric field that we have around us. It helps to shore that up and to make it really strong. It's a way to create your vision and purpose, because like I said, meditation and prayer are very aligned. They're basically like twins. They're very much soulmates, and when you're meditating, it could be quite a prayerful meditation. And when you're really in the zone of doing your feeling prayer, that also has a meditative effect as well. It's really for body, mind, and soul healing. It works on all levels, because if it's increasing our energy and reducing the busy mind, that is what's going to enable your body to self-heal. It's going to bring your mind into alignment, and it's that then is going to be great for your soul. Better connect and communicate with other people, both energetically and in person. Meditation has these far-reaching effects well beyond the actual meditation, and it has a cumulative effect. Whereas you meditate, the more you meditate, it builds upon itself, and it creates a lot more harmony and balance and energy in between times, which is really quite amazing. So it sort of stays with you. It helps us to align our nature with the nature of reality, which is really the ultimate purpose. To me, it's one of the ultimate purposes in life. It's about aligning us with the nature of reality, or the reality of nature, or truth, if you like. The objective truths fit into this bucket. and our nature. We all have slightly different natures. We are all of nature. We're born into nature. We're born into a natural world through a natural process. So but we all have slightly different personalities. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and so it's a matter of like the river, just taking the path of least resistance when we align ourselves with nature. It helps to enhance our intuition, our imaginative qualities, imagination, or dreaming is also a very powerful thing to do. It's very much a kind of form of intention that becomes like a living kind of a living sort of imaginative thing. It also helps with empathy and other vital values that you may not be fully aware of. They start to emerge into your mind. When you can empty your mind, that's giving you the ability to then intuit clearly, or be able to see what you really want without any obstruction. And it's very, when you know that you know, it's very powerful when you have that experience of knowing. It's quite awesome, because then that means it's really, you are being reprogrammed anew, and it means that the work you're doing is really starting to sink in. And it's to help us awaken from the 3D dream and elevate ourselves into higher frequency, which is, we're all frequency. It's all about resonance and frequency. So different types of meditation. There's sound meditation. We can intone mantras, even singing bhajans, or that's the Indian songs of devotion. That's a kind of very much a meditative process. But sound, in the beginning was sound, then came light. So sound is very important. You could also intone the Om, or you can even just visualize the Om inside your third eye. Super powerful, especially when you set it up and do it regularly. As I said before, we can have a prayerful kind of meditation, or just basically we can interchange between prayer and meditation. We have mindfulness walking meditation. The Buddhists have a very good walking meditation. It's very cool. Breathing and meditation. I mentioned here the Art of Living. I have done the Art of Living course. I've done them a few times. Excellent courses. And breathing is so important, and often is a major part of the meditation, particularly at the beginning, to do some deep breathing, or you can just do a kind of meditation just focused on your natural breath at the end of your nostrils. You can do alternate nostril breathing, and other types of breathing, like real deep diaphragmatic breathing is also good for energizing. Visualization meditation. This can be done with the eyes open or the eyes closed. Like if you did it with the eyes open, you visualize a candle flame, geometrical shapes. Like you can, I've got different pictures of geometry, and you can just stare at, particularly like that's what they use the Sri Yantra. The Sri Yantra is a whole series of triangles all interlaced with each other, an Indian form of geometry, I guess you say, and they used it to visualize open eye meditation. or you could visualize a triangle or geometrical shapes with your eyes closed, or you could see a candle flame with your eyes closed in the center of your forehead. Super powerful. Um, and I've got here the cross and sphere meditation. That's a meditation that is my own little adaptation that I use sometimes when I need to get aligned or balanced. And we can go through this if we need to. Um, I've got it at the end. Actually, Rama was going to come on. Rama was going to do a meditation. If he couldn't make it, then I will. We can do a group meditation if people want. There's also you can have guided meditations, and then the traditional kind of silent sitting meditation, which could actually entail a lot of all of these as well. Um, you can, while you're silently sitting, you can also do the visualization, the breathing, prayer, whatever. But you might just want to just purely go into what I call the void, and you might want to just not visualize anything. And you sometimes when you go very deep, it's very powerful when you slip right below the watermark, if you like, the water line, and you go into it's almost like something is taken over your body, and I know people who've done circuits through the universe, and they've astral traveled, and I myself have had spontaneous astral traveling and lucid, having strong visuals. It's really doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's something you'll never forget. I assure you that. So when we're talking about meditation and prayer, one of the I've thrown this in as well is one of the main objectives of doing this is to awaken, because as we awaken, that's what's going to help shift the world. As the world we see is a matter of perspective. Some are excited by what's going on in the world right now, and others are fearful, or an absolute mix of both. So do not judge yourself harshly. Just be objective in where you are at now. But this perspective or perception is very, very important. And like two people can be looking at the same thing, and one can see it as absolute abhorrent, and the other person could see it as literally as the best thing they've ever seen. And this can actually apply to our world at large as well. Um, so I sort of there's three general levels of people where we're at in our awakening. At the end of the day, we're all asleep once. We all start off asleep, and every single night we go to sleep. So every day we wake up from sleep. So we shouldn't judge others who may not see what we see. We should just accept them the way they are, because we were there once. But there are a lot of people who sleep at the wheel. Um, these people very much only understand the 3D. They're very much locked into the physical reality, and they may well be stuck in a job, or they may well just be just surviving in a job or their business, and they're really just going about their life on autopilot of just simply waking, eating, sleeping, sex, pleasure. These are just the very basic carnal pleasures and carnal things. And, this is a part of our life, but if we're living our whole life in this realm, it might not be so great. So, um, these people, their whole life is usually based on a false belief. They watch the media incessantly, and they become very indoctrinated. And this is precisely what the system really wants, I think, because then these people are very controllable and malleable, and they become very dependent. And probably the key thing that these people would say is seeing is believing. In other words, until they see it, they will not believe it. And because they're only operating through the five senses and predominantly through what they can see, taste, touch, smell, this is they're going to always be in that realm. They're going to be stuck waiting. They're not going to believe anything until they see it, and it won't show up in their seeing until they start shifting into an internal reference point, which is what meditation can give us. Then we have the majority of the population would be in the middle section. They're awakening to the subjective truths. In other words, they're aware of something is going on outside in the world with the politicians and the financial area and all the other things. They're waking up to the mental and emotional energies within themselves. They're starting to access the fourth density or fourth dimension as well as the 3D, which is where their intentions lie and thoughts and the thought realms. In other words, 4D is where they're beginning to understand that they create through their thoughts. That's probably the main thing. They're beginning to see many of the problems, but unaware how to deal with them sometimes or most of the time. They are questioning and emerging into some spiritual and objective truths. Negative beliefs are dissolving, and these people may well have the mantra of believing is seeing, which is a big improvement on the base level. But however, if it's just beliefs, if we haven't yet analyzed our beliefs, and we're simply running on belief alone, then we're only going to see what we believe. And as I said, if those beliefs are in our subconscious and they have not been overlaid or reprogrammed with something more inherently true, they will only be able to operate at that level. You cannot think beyond where you are conscious at. You cannot have more consciousness beyond where you're at. In other words, you can't create anything beyond your station. You will always reach that glass ceiling. Then there's a very small percentage of people who are fully awake most of the time, or in very rare instances, all of the time. Certain monks. I have met a handful of people in the world who were fully awake, and just being in their presence, I can assure you, was very profound. Just sitting in their auric field was incredible. I've experienced this a few times in India and in a few other places. Not generally in my general day-to-day life, that's for sure. These people are very aware of their internal energies, and yet they're balanced with the outer world as well. They may well see colors, other colors that we can't see. They have visions. They can see energy. They very much will have strong healing qualities. They are a seer in the truest sense of the word, as in a sage or a seer. They could manifest anything, and if those who are truly awake can manifest instantly, and I have seen that happen through one of the masters I saw in India, Sai Baba, who I actually visited quite a few times. I actually witnessed him manifest things right in front of my eyes. And I witnessed him heal a guy, a tetraplegic who had been confined to a wheelchair for 40 years, was able to walk. So I have actually seen it with my own eyes, and this had a profound effect on my journey in my life, actually. These people are very much lovers of everyone and anything. They really understand what love is. They're mindful, open, grounded, and they understand the objective truths, or what true science. Objective truths are the science, like the science of electromagnetism. They probably operating in even higher than 5D. I mean, but some of us are accessing this in 4 and 5D. I'm talking about the regular lay people now who are starting to really evolve into these areas. And I made up this mantra for these people: knowing as seeing, or seeing. So, in other words, these people know because they've already seen the truth, they've experienced the truth, they already know that they know. And it may not be continuously 100% of the time, but if you've had an experience where you know that you will never forget that, and it will become a determinant director for you in your life. It will open up your spirituality to a much higher level, much greater level. And some of the qualities or values that we really need, are really required to awaken. And this is also what we required in life in general. So this isn't just about awakening. Is we need a healthy dose of perseverance and determination. We can't give up too easily. We can't be stopped. And this will come through in what we do with crypto. It'll come through in all kinds of areas of life. And once you start harnessing these values, they'll be with you forever. We really need to open our hearts and our minds from all our pains and hurts and all those times we were double crossed, or when we shut down because of a traumatic experience or something like that. We have to learn to open our minds and open our hearts. We have to start questioning. Too many people are just taking, they're taking the Kool-Aid, they're taking the blue pill, not the red pill. They're just not questioning things. They just it's not a good way to be when we just take anything without inquiring. Um, um, we need a quest for knowledge and understanding. We need to actually have a baseline of knowledge or learning. We need a desire to understand what freedom means to you and build upon that. So a lot of people haven't even inquired whether they want freedom, or what does it mean? What does freedom actually mean? Because it will mean different things to different people. But having a sense of freedom and knowing what makes you free, what makes your heart sing, is critical to our progression and evolvement as a human species. Cleansing, healing, forgiving, letting go of the past, letting go of past people and pains. This is fundamental, really, for being able to move on. We cannot grow until we let go of the past and until we forgive. And the forgiving is predominantly for ourselves, our own guilts and shames. And once we forgive ourselves, then we will find it very easy to forgive others. But it's also about forgiving others as well. But I ultimately believe it comes back to us. Everything always comes back to us. A desire for the truth of the natural and universal laws. So I will say this repetitively over and over. And a commitment to aligning with these realities. So you may not have any idea where to start with what is a universal law or what is a natural law, but just having an intention to be committed to learning them is all you really need. That's your beginning point. Commitment to health and raising energy levels. Health and energy go hand in hand, and this is physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. But baseline is our physical health. We have to get our body in order. We have to, we have to start with our foundation. We start where we're at. You know, everyone's at different levels, and so what I'm trying to do is be very inclusive here to people who have no idea about the spiritual side of life. Well, we can start with our physical body and our physical health, and our partnerships, and our family environment, our household environment. Independence and then interdependence. It's very important that we become independent, and then as we connect with others, then we become interdependent. This is one of the things that I see emerging with the decentralization of finance. We are becoming interdependent with other people in the decentralized area as well. Committing to self-responsibility, absolutely critical value that I believe everyone should have top of their list. Um, balance and observation witnessing skills. This is what meditation brings. It helps self-observation. It helps with witnessing ourselves. We can also start by observing nature or just observe other people, and take from that what you don't want to emulate, as well as what you want to emulate. Witnessing and observation, it's a very underrated thing because it seems so simple and so you know not necessary, but I believe it is very, very fundamental. And then here I've got here meditation, breathing, grounding, exercising, good water, drinking lots of fluid. It's just a fundamental thing, and nourishing food. These all help with our health at every level. And you'll notice that a lot of these have a reference to different elements. Breath is akin to the air, grounding is akin to the earth, exercising is, well, it's a bit of everything. Water, drinking good water is obviously related to the water element, and food is also related to the earth element. Uh, so I have got a meditational exercise here. If if anyone wants to do it, is I'm not sure if Rama is on the call. Are you there, Rama? 'Cause I can't see. Gerald, do you know if Rama is on the call?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I will just carry on, and if everyone wants to take a few deep breaths, and that we can do this simple 5 minute exercise. I will narrate it, and you just follow along with what I'm saying. Uh, or you can see it is on the screen as well if you wanted to read the words. But just sit in a comfortable position with your feet flat on the floor and your back straight, and start just taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then maybe just sort of rotate the neck a little, just shake your shoulders a little bit, just just sort of get comfortable, or get on the floor if you want, cross-legged on the floor, um, and just taking a couple more deep breaths. Now see a ball of light in the center of your heart. Just see this white light or clear translucent white light or pure white light forming into your heart. And then draw a line, then take that light in a line of down through your feet, right down into through the bottom of your feet and right into the very center of the earth. So visualize this light. It could be a column of light, or could be a slither of light going straight down. They call the area just below your feet your Earth Star. It's where I got my name for my other business. So visualize like a star of light just below your feet, and then send this column of light all the way down into the center of the Earth's core. Now draw the light back up through that column, through that straw, if you like it. Just imagine like a straw of light, and bringing it back up into the heart, and then send it all the way up to what we call the pole star. So send it up to a star, visualize an imaginary star above your head, right up in the heavens. Imagine it going all the way up past the moon, right up into a star up in the sky. And then bring the light back down into your heart again, and then just send it back down into the earth again, and then just spend a minute just playing with the energy, pulling the energy down into the earth, and then pulling it up from the earth and all the way up to your star, and just simply bring it up and down an imaginary tube that comes right out through the top of your head and back down through the same channel, right down into the earth. And don't forget to breathe. Now imagine like this line of light from your pole star all the way down to earth. It's kind of there permanently now. Just see it as like a line of light that is now permanently going right through your body. It's connecting the earth with the stars. And now from your heart, go visualize that ball of light that's there in your heart, and draw a line of light to your left, going all the way out from your left side of your body, and just imagine it going to infinity, and then draw it back in, and then send that light in a column on a horizontal plane, cutting through perpendicular to your vertical line, cutting right through the middle of your heart and going all the way to the right. And then as you draw it back in, see, as you send the light to your left, see your left side and your left brain illuminating. And then send the line in a perfect horizontal column of light right out as far as you can imagine to your left, and then bring it in and across your heart and then over to the right, and see it illuminating the right side of your body and the right side of your brain, and then just send the light left and right a few times until it feels like you've got a solid line of white light running. So you've made a perfect cross. You're in the center of this cross of light. Just keep breathing, just be aware of your breath. Be aware of this cross that you've now created, and you're in the center of the cross, and your heart is in the very center where the cross meets, and it goes all the way up to the heavens and all the way down into earth and all the way to the left and right as far as you can imagine. Now draw a line of light from your heart back, directly back behind you in a horizontal line going all the way back, and see this line of light. It's like you are going back into your past. You're going all the way back through your years, back to your young adulthood, back to teenagehood, back to childhood. Go all the way back to your birth. So you imagine yourself, you are literally you're regressing back through your life today, all the way back to your birth, and even go in beyond your birth. So imagine this line that you've sent from your heart is like a timeline. And send that light as far back as you care to send it. Just imagine yourself as a child, and imagine yourself being born, and then imagine, just if you want, you can go and beyond that. Otherwise, just imagine as far as your birth, and just spend a few seconds just dwelling on that. And while you're thinking of that, send some love and light to your young self, and just see it as going back over your life and just healing all the pains and hurts of your past. See this light literally healing your young self. And then bring the light back into your heart, and then imagine the light going out in front of you, directly in front of you on the horizontal plane, but going as far forward as you can imagine into your future. And see your future being lit up. Spend a few seconds just visualizing your future in your perfect paradise world. And just alternate that light forward and back a few times until it becomes like a solid line. So now you've created the basis of what three-dimensionality is based on. You've created 3 dimensions in your mind, and you're sitting in the midst of this 3-dimensional cross. You're making peace with your past, and you're visualizing your ultimate future. and see it as a whole. See the vertical and the horizontal lines going out to your sides as well as forward and back, and just spend about 10 seconds just seeing this whole structure. Keep breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now put a ring around yourself. See a white circle going right around you, forward and back and side to side, and make the rings into a whole white sphere. Imagine yourself being in this bubble of white crystalline light. And you can push the sphere out as wide as you like or as close as you like. And imagine still the lines of light are there, forward and back, side to side, up and down. And just visualize this bubble, this ball that you are inside, filling with light as well. Fill it with clear white light, or you can fill it with pure white light or clear white. And make sure, go around your sphere and make sure that it's all fully, there's no holes or breaks. It's fully a perfect, like a giant beach ball, and you're inside it. And just spend the next 20 to 30 seconds just sitting in this ball. And when you're ready, you can just slowly emerge and just come back into the world, come back into our physical body, and allow the light, the lines of light in the ball to dissolve naturally. So that was just a little taste of this meditation that I created. What we're actually doing is helping to align ourselves with the dimensions. The vertical line is really like the first dimension. The cross makes the second dimension. The part linking your past, cleansing your past, and creating your future is like the third dimension. And then putting the sphere around it is like expanding those dimensions out into the fourth and fifth dimension and beyond. And so what we're literally doing is we're literally recreating what they call creating our temple, recreating the temple. And it happens between our temples in our head. So the temple in the ancestors and their temples is really just a physical manifestation of what we are creating inside us, in our minds and in our hearts. We're rebuilding the temple. That's what they meant when They say that. So, and we're literally creating an axis. We're creating an axis for ourselves called the X, Y, and Z axis. If you use a basic 3D science, which is the very basis of it, but it's obviously well beyond that. So thank you for participating in that. You want to make any comment, Gerald, before we
No, no,
to
no,
our
that
week?
was great. Yeah, good to maybe to leave people now that they're feeling all settled. You can leave them go to their weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Great.
Thanks very much for that, Tony.
You're welcome. I enjoyed delivering that. And yeah, have a great one, everyone. And yeah, enjoy.